Welcome, bowling fans. It is Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Still got that frog in my throat, Mike. Time for Outlawed Live with myself, Ron Stone, and Mike Idle. Mike, how's it going?
Going really well. What an awesome banquet, man, oh man, Ron. Just the icing on the cake. I felt like that was just about as good as it gets, seeing everybody down there, handing out the awards, being a part of it. The only downside is your voice. I tell you, this year, I guess, I should be tickled because the opportunities keep coming for me, but, not in the way that anybody wants to see it happen. Got to get that voice back up and going. And it sounds like you're actually a little more raspy, than you were at banquet time.
Kind of comes and goes,
Sure.
Yesterday, the weekend was pretty rough. Yesterday was pretty rough. Yesterday, I woke up feeling like I felt a little better, but the voice is kind of coming and going. I go through these periods of my eyes watering and sneezing and all that good stuff. So hopefully here in a day or two, things will be better. But
you are allergic. See, your body has a negative correlative reaction. You're going through withdrawals. There's no tractor. You're allergic to the off season is what it is. So see, diesel smoke for some people, it kind of messes them up. You need that diesel smoke and that VP racing methanol to keep you cleared up and everything. That is, as a non-medical individual, that is my conclusion. You're allergic to the off season.
Yeah, somebody needs to give me an intervention, I guess, because I'm hooked. I can't stop. So, no, what an exciting week of even though we weren't pulling an exciting week of pulling. I mean, we announced a few new sponsors this weekend for the next season. We had the banquet. It was announced we're having the pull in Colbert, Oklahoma, officially replacing the White Ride event. What else was there, Mike? Was there something else?
Yeah, it seems like there might have been some other news that kind of went across the internet, but what an off season for all of pulling in general. I mean, there have been so many waves being made in this off season, and everything you just said is, before we even talk about any of the big splashes, like all that's huge in and of itself. That pull in Colbert, Oklahoma, I can't wait to talk about that. The schedule that we got to look at, which is changing rapidly. We saw that schedule down there change on a day-to-day basis as things kind of morph together for the 26th season. Big new sponsors coming in. A lot's going on in the world of pulling, and it's really cool just with even what we're talking about in front of us. But yeah, I feel like something else kind of developed this weekend too that is certainly worth acknowledging, worth talking about.
Let's just go ahead and throw it. There we go. That's what it is. More power, more payout, more IHRA. The Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pullers have joined an alliance, a partnership with the International Hot Rod Association, the IHRA, been around since 1970, as well as an agreement, an alliance, a partnership with the Pro Pulling League. Now, there's been some things posted online since the weekend. A lot of people speculating what they think this is. And Mike, you sent it to me Sunday night. Wasn't even home yet. Gentleman from Bad Geared posted that we were a state region of PPL. That is not true. We are on equal footing with PPL. We have joined in an alliance with the International Hot Rod Association, and in turn, PPL has joined in with an alliance with the IHRA as well as the Outlaws. So what the folks at the IHRA would like to see is collaboration, cooperation, and a partnership to make pulling more fluid across the different pulling organizations, not only in the Midwest, but throughout the country. So one thing we're going to do as part of that collaboration and cooperation is try to bring our rules together, take out any gray areas, make those rule books mirror each other on those classes. That way, a limited pro stock with the Pro Pulling League can come pull with the Outlaws. A limited pro stock with the Outlaws can go pull with a limited pro stock with PPL, just using a limited pro stock class as an example here. So I'm sure there'll be questions tonight. I'm sure of that, Mike.
Yeah.
And we'll try to answer them best we can. A lot of these things are still moving. A lot of puzzle pieces still not put together here. So I think there's going to be a lot of news come out in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and in the coming months when it comes to pulling and part of this partnership, this alliance we have with the IHRA and the Pro Pulling League. So I'm sure a lot of the outlaw pullers were surprised when they saw John Mears and Christy walk into the Margaritaville Resort on Friday. And we did that. We had a meeting with them. Then we went out and had the board meeting. And then the announcements were made. While they were there, PR press release went out at 12:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday. So what does this mean for pulling? Nothing bad. It's all good. It's all good. If you're an outlaw puller, we're going to be using the same insurance as the Pro Pulling League. So an outlaw puller wants to go pull with a PPL hook somewhere. They go over there. They just simply pay their hook fee for that pull. They do not have to pay a membership or an insurance fee to become a member for that day to be covered under insurance. It's going to make it more feasible for pullers to go pull with both organizations. It's going to be cheaper for them to do so. So these are good things. These are good things.
I think of it almost like a bundle. You see this online a lot of times, and you get the Disney Plus Hulu plus ESPN or whatever. Pullers, from your standpoint, like Ron says, much more fluid. It's going to kind of automatically get you access into both associations, where you can then choose how you want to play the points. If you want to, outlaw is still outlaw, PPL is still PPL. But the big thing, I think, the fans, Ron, I see it all the time online. If you go on the forum, if you go on Facebook, fans left and right say, we want to see rules that are standardized across all three professional associations. I would say this is one of the bigger steps that has been taken to achieving that goal since I've been around pulling. It's not 100% guaranteed in everything, but we saw major steps just this weekend alone, where we saw the Outlaw Executive Board as well as the directors from Pro Pulling League having mutual meetings and kind of walking away and saying, here's classes and here's rules that are going to be, transcribable amongst both leagues. Really, really cool. Fans, you've been asking for it, and this is a huge step in that direction. That's what I'm taking away from this.
Yeah. This is better for pullers. This is better for fans. This is better for promoters as well.
Yeah.
Because we're leaving the door open to, since we're covered by the same insurance and we have an alliance. Let's say we need a class somewhere, and PPL has a class available. Say they're Western Series. We may be able to use that class at one of our events and vice versa. If PPL needs a class somewhere and we happen to be in the neighborhood, we're open a particular night, we may be able to give them a class. So that's what we're talking about. No more rivalries. All that's out the door. It's collaboration and cooperation for the good of the sport. Okay?
That's spot on.
So
I think you'll really see. I think this is great news in my territory. You get up there, I-29, Eastern Nebraska, Western Iowa. That's solidly outlaw country. You get out east of the river. That's the east of the river guys. Right up here in Northeast Missouri, kind of Missouri in particular, a lot of pullers I feel like have kind of been, do we fall more in the outlaw, sphere of influence? Do we fall more in PPL sphere of influence? What way do we go? Now I feel like they're very open to kind of just travel wherever they want. And let's say that there was an outlaw pull on a Wednesday night and a PPL pull on a Thursday night. It benefits both promoters because they can say, well, we'll just hit both of them because we transitioned seamlessly to both. Classes where maybe you were seeing 7 to 9 pullers per class last year in either association, you might see 12 to 15 because they can just hit all those seamlessly. So,
and you never know.
Great for fans.
And speaking to that, some of those classes, some pullers may be able to run points in both associations. We've seen it with the Limited Pro Diesel Pickup class. Jason Wayman and Skylar Leaper running both point series. I think maybe we only had one conflict in the schedule last year. I'm not sure, but we literally were trying not to conflict with the PPL schedule anyway, so those guys could run both. So I think you're going to see more of that as well. Pullers trying to run both series with Outlaws and PPL. So you have the IHRA, International Hot Rod Association, making a lot of big moves
Sure.
In the last year, they're buying up drag strips into boat racing and trying to make motorsports great again here in the United States. And, that's he's got my vote, Darrell Cuttle, the owner of the IHRA. So big things are happening. Big things, Mike. So speaking of big things, we got some big things happening in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They put out the press release today on Outlaw Pulling's Facebook page. It was on Let's Grow Pulling last night. Let's bring on Lacey Weger from Colbert, Oklahoma. Lacey, how's it going?
Good, guys. How are y'all?
Doing great.
Good. Doing good. My voice is a touch better than it was Saturday night, Lacey. But I watched some of your interview last night on Let's Grow Pulling. Seems like everybody's pretty excited down there to get this thing going.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, but we're gonna get it. And it definitely, we did some changes yesterday evening on the White Right Truck and Tractor Pull page and trying to get it all up to date to us on that deal. I know a lot of them is disappointed not to have the 50th there, including us, but we definitely didn't want to let it escape from this part of the world down here. So we decided we'd try to step up and do it. So it just really speeded the process up a year quicker than I wanted to do it. I ain't going to lie.
Speaking of the year speeding up quicker, I can't help but notice that Diana has the Christmas decorations up in there, Lacey. Isn't there a rule against that before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, if you could only, if I could take the phone and just turn it around, yeah. Or the lights outside, there's about 30 acres worth of lights outside between all the houses, the irrigation systems, the fences, the barns, everything. Driveways, there's a lot. Well, I think she got more compliments off of the lights with people off of seen them on Facebook, and like I said, that don't even do it justice than I did awards up there the other night.
On those awards, does it feel like, in theme of that, Christmas came early to Oklahoma and the Weger family? Yeah. First of all, congratulations, points championship, rookie of the year, puller of the year. You put all those in the bag. And then, Lacey, I guess my question is, was then promoting a pull, you've got all these accolades, is promoting a pull just kind of the next step in your pulling journey? You came out, you had a remarkable 2025 season. The fans, the pullers, the points recognized that. And then was it just going to be the natural next step to go on and putting on a show of your own?
I guess we're gonna make it happen. Yeah. And it's with a great organization. I'm glad to do it with Outlaw and all that, because we've made a lot of friends on that 1 year journey with this situation. So we're definitely going to, as I told Kurt, whenever all this come up quick and we had to make a decision on that. Well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to shoot for the pull of the year. So that's what I'm going to, that's what we're going to try for, And
the short time that I've known you, Lacey, I don't see you as doing anything half-ass. Have you ever done anything halfway in your whole life? It's always
most time it's go big or go home.
Go big or go home. So, but it's working for you so far.
Well, there's a few times that casino deal, I usually go home pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the best of all of it.
I don't last long up there on that. I end up sitting there and playing on my phone because I can't. I'd rather go buy a fishing pole, some lures. I might not get to use them, at least I'll have them.
There you go.
But so we met up with I met up with ASCO today. We had lunch with them, and which is our Case IH dealership, here, and we're trying to get everything worked out. Maybe we can try to get them to come on board with us. I'm pretty sure they will. They helped, with the White Right last year, and we just got to start. We just got to start hitting everything, beating the bush to try to get some help, sponsorship, because we got a lot of ideals as far as we're wanting to really give back to the community, to the kids, to even the people that shows up. So everybody loves free hats, free T-shirts. So
they love
trying to make sure we can give quite a few boxes of them away when we go.
There you go. So watching the show last night, Let's Go Pulling, when you were talking about this, you were talking about doing a like a bicycle giveaway,
Yeah.
a puller meal, things like
Yeah.
that. Fireworks after the show both nights. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we did. We used to do it quite a bit. I kind of quit in 2014, but we started back last year. Did a big show there, so we'll bust it up. There's enough fireworks instead of doing an hour 15 or hour and 30-minute show. We'll bust it up and do one each night there. So, our hard decision is, and maybe some guys we might spark some interest here or make some people mad when I say this. What is a good price for a ticket price for a tractor pull? You guys know what it costs to write that check for Outlaws to show up. Bleachers is a big issue already. I've done seen for us, and I knew it was going to be, but I just really didn't think it was going to be this bad. And what we're having it at, we got to get on it. We got to get off of it so I can keep production of sod, in there going. So that's a $1 million question, and I really wish some people would help with it. You can't really do a $20 ticket and come out at the other end of this deal, and you're seeing that because, White Rat was having trouble making ends meet at the end of it. Multiple people has tried it. What is it? I don't know. Would you say there's been 3 different promoters right here at the end of White Rat, and none of them could make it work out?
Yeah, two that I've dealt with, 2 different promoters. I think they made money in the end, and they went, they went and spent some money there on that event, probably more so than the previous promoters did on some extra things, but we really advertised the heck out of it, and it did bring people in, put butts in the seats. But
that's the deal, if you try to, trying to get 3,000 seats in there on this situation, we got an invoice here for bleachers of $69,000. Ouch. You're done out. What? $12 a ticket. It's a 2-night show, so you got $12 a person right automatically just trying to get bleachers in here and try to get them to a seat. So,
and then marketing 101 is you price your product or your service for what it's worth, not what you think that others will want it to be worth.
I just see a lot of people they get mad if you're going to have a $30 or $35 ticket, and I don't know if that's going to be right or wrong on the situation, but I guess, maybe some of the same ones you see that gets upset about it will buy $100 concert tickets, per person, or that meal of 5, no different than like bringing, a couple with 2 kids, to the situation. If they go out and eat, it's going to be $120 ticket just to go out and eat. So, we're going to try to provide, and we're still kicking around. Definitely like kids 6 and under is going to be free. We're going to try to do something from 7 to 15 at a smaller discounts, than adult pricing, and try to keep the food at a reasonable price, with the vendors. I've done talk to a couple of them. It's like, hey, this is what we're going to do, but we ain't going to be charging Six Flag meal ticket kind of cost, or Walt Disney World type of food cost. I got to keep it down all the way around, So that's hard. That's going to be a hard, I think I can make it work with the vendors that I have, but we got to make it work for everybody.
Lacey, I bought a drink the other night. It cost me $15. So, 25 or 30 to get in the gate to see the sport I love is not asking too much.
Yeah. I don't think it is too, and we're going to have plenty to go. If like I said, we're going to give bicycles away, and the fireworks show alone, it's going to be great at the end of the pool. And I think they're going to get their money's worth for probably 4.5 hours, entertainment all the way. And we got old Dave is definitely going to be some entertainment for him.
Yeah.
You're trying to make my life difficult, ain't you? Bringing Dave back in here to give me a hard time.
No, He might be giving you a little hard time, Ron. You know,
he's guaranteed to give me a hard time. You know,
he could give you a chance to rest your voice, Ron. You could get up there and let Dave take some of the heat. But I heard you guys were doing that. I think that's awesome. You know, and big pulling fans that know that this is on a historic date, to get out there and see Dave Bennett come out and announce another time. You know, probably the greatest to ever hold a microphone. That's gonna be awesome. You know, back to the debate as to what it's worth. And Ron talked about paying $15 for a drink, and everything you guys are saying. It's my biggest soapbox, and I agree with it completely. People don't want to pay $30 for a pulling ticket, but they'll pay $300 to go see the Kansas City Chiefs play. You know, it's a 2-day event, or have you kind of kicked around the idea of doing a $30 for day one, or get a weekend pass? You know, a weekend pass, you give them a $50 or something like that. Is that something that works in your business model?
We're just getting started on the you know, just getting started on the whole deal. More than anything, you know, we're working to make sure I get the sound system. I'm not going to wait till March or April when we're in the middle of the fields of trying to do everything. So we're going to use the next couple months, try to get all of our ducks in the line and be ready to go. Because, you know, as well as I do, that 30 days beforehand is going to be, you'll have enough of curveballs thrown at you already, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I always try to have plan A and B, you know, on the back burner. So.
Well, you're getting a good jump on it. The PR that's going out right now, you know, it tells me that we're gonna make this the place to be that weekend in June, that last weekend in June 2026. Don't forget, it's the 250th birthday of the United States of America too. So,
it's even better.
Patriotism would be a nice theme for the event also. So you've come up with a name. What is pull off? What's the name of it, Lacey? You made a name, pull off in the turf. Is that what it
is? Full pull in the turf.
Full pull in the turf. Full pull in the turf. So you are going to have signs around where the
it's actually
out of grass, right?
It's actually full pull on the turf.
On the turf.
My wife's correcting me on that. Yeah. The field that we're going to have it in there. I'll probably blow in there and cut it off and give it about 3 weeks, you know, grow back on it. So in other words, it won't be bare ground, but it'll be able to withstand all the traffic, and then we can fix it whenever it's over with. We're not going to do it on a field that's ready to harvest, because then they're not going to like it when it gets to Dallas, you know. But we've got all that kind of scheduled out, figured out how we're going to do all of that, so we're good to go.
Go ahead, Lacey. I was just say, put the tractor. Take one of those fields that you're going to harvest, put the pull on that, roll off that turf, and then send it off to the football team that you don't bet on or whatever. Send that out to the Denver Broncos, or if you're an Oklahoma fan, send that one down to UT or something like that. You know.
Right. We've kind of got it all figured out. It's all going to be right there around the headquarters, and we've got it. It'll be a good one. It really will.
And your company is Top Notch Turf, right?
Yeah.
In Colbert, you service most of Oklahoma and North Texas, right?
Most everything we got goes south.
Everything.
I do very little up here in Oklahoma. Most of it goes to Dallas and Fort Worth. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Good to know.
And we ship it all. We ship it all down there. Once it's loaded on the truck, south is where they're begging for it the most, and better money.
Okay. Good deal. You've got classes set up already, and besides one we're working on right now. We won't talk about that. But I think
right. You better be working. You better be working hard on that, because I know all them guys done surrounded me the night after the banquet down there. So I just passed that. Yeah, I just passed that buck on to you. I'm like, yeah, you need to go talk to him.
I was the one that I brought that on myself, because I put a bug in the class rep's ear before their meeting, and he told everybody, and of course, 99% of them were like, yeah, we want to go down there. So now it's all on me to get it done. So
That and then the 4-1s wants to come. Yeah, we could probably pull down here all weekend. Probably could have a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday pull.
There you go.
At the medium that wants to come. So go back to like the old times that was down in White Rat,
There you go. Yeah, get on those sponsors. You probably get her done. We could always add a day.
Yeah. And I'm glad because that the guys that we run with, they got confidence that we're not going to mess this up, right?
Yeah, I think they have trust in you. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said, everything you've done so far has been top notch, for use of a better term. It's a high class operation you got going down there. So, do you have any sponsors lined up yet? You said you talked with ASCO. I think they supported.
I've got some. Yeah, I've got some that told me they'll help, but they're just going to be small. So we'll kind of get rolling. We trying to get everything out there and get the page changed so everybody kind of starts seeing where it's at, and then we'll start doing some updates. Here starting at the first of the year and start advertising on the Outlaw page of people that's going to start coming on board. So it's not just a 2-night like a sponsorship people. I think my wife said that the Outlaw page grew between last night and this morning was over 400 people, 400 more followers, went to the page. So
yeah,
we get that growth on out there, and then that helps. That's great advertisement.
Yeah.
6 months before the pool with these people who's going to step up and help sponsor with us and this and that in our area.
Yeah.
It's a tremendous advertisement for them right there alone. So I know the feeling as a business owner when that door is constantly opening up. What are you going to give me? What are you going to give me? Type situation. They all think it's a tax deduction. That's great, but you got to make some money first before you got to worry about writing it off.
As soon as you give us something we can share on social media, Mike and I both are on pretty much every pulling related page there is out there. We can share that stuff and bombard the internet and social media with this new pull, which is just within 45-minute drive of White, right? Is that about right?
Yeah, we're basically, and here's the deal, a lot of them it's coming, if they're coming out of the Sherman and Denison, even towards the McKinney area, staying on Highway 75, coming straight into us would probably be just as quick as making the detour, and cutting across going to the east like it was going to White Rat. Now, anybody that's south of White Rat down in there or further east, it's not going to be for them. But, the biggest majority of the people, I think, it'll help that out a lot. And I think the people coming from southern Oklahoma, it'll help that out a lot. I think we can pull a pretty good crowd, with that too.
I gotta get on our comments here. Mike and I have been listening and not looking at our comments. We got to jump in here. Colandahl watching, Tina and Eric Berger watching, Mark Willis. We got several super fans that watch the show every Tuesday night. Lacey and Colandahl and Tina and Eric Berger, Mark Willis, Dick Blancaspor. These folks are on here every week. Mark Ham when he can. So a lot of folks watching tonight. I got a lot of comments. I got so enthralled with the interview, I forgot about the comments. Now I'm backed up here.
Well, there's a lot transpiring and pulling right now. It's easy to get caught up in this kind of stuff out there. So big news dropping. So gonna be neat. Gonna be cool going back to Oklahoma. Outlaws have not been in Oklahoma in a couple of years. So this is gonna be awesome. Lacey, I commend you for the season you've had and for putting on this pull. And it's gonna be 2026 can't get here soon enough.
Let's see, just going through here. No, I didn't get an award for singing. No,
but he did get an award.
Internet or y'all's internet?
An award, and his voice got suspiciously good. When it came time, you give Ron an award, and then all of a sudden I noticed you were speaking really good there, Ron. I was going to give you a hard time for that.
No, I was pushing pretty hard to get sound to come out. Trust me. There's folks commenting on the what's going on with
the Alliance.
Alliance. Let's see. Ryan Folks is asking, who does engine work for you, Lacey? And it looks like they are Engler chassis.
Lemke Motorsports. Robbie does my motors. And yes, they're Engler chassis. Tim Engler built my chassis.
Kurt Van Beek says, thank you, Lacey, for stepping up, keeping the white right tradition going, even if we are moving across the line in Oklahoma. Robert Miner, another super fan, checking in from Niobrara, Nebraska. Matt Hamada checking in. The secondary.
On the side. He's got questions about pro stock four-wheel drive trucks and how that might apply to PPL is kind of what it looks like right here. Yep. So
PPL requires a secondary hitch. Outlaws doesn't at this time, so it's something that we're working on right now. Let's see. Kurt Koyman says $25 is still cheap, Lacey. So Kurt Koyman is one of the promoters there at Thunder in the Valley and Rock Valley. Kurt Van Beek says 30 to 35 is not too high. $25 is cheap. I agree.
What is just since Kurt and Kurt are both on here, out of Rock Valley, Ron, I don't remember off the top of my head what does Rock Valley charge? If you look at a Rock Valley or a Wisner, are they at 30? I know there are pools out there that are charging 30. Is that going to be about where they're at? I don't remember. I haven't had to pay to go to those events in a while.
No, all the car racing and stuff, they're up to pretty much $35 to $45 a night pit pass on car racing. That's what we pretty much pay. That's what we pretty much pay on all that. If it's a special event, it could be a little bit more, but most of it's around 35 to 45 for pit passes on dirt track.
What is it? So that's you guys bringing your equipment in the back door on that, and of course you're well versed in the dirt racing world. What's a typical ticket? If I walk up to one of the sprint car races that you'd been a part of, or if I walk up to just a typical outdoor circle track and I just pay right there at the gate, what's a typical ticket price at a race?
As far as pit passes are going to be anywhere from 30, like I said, 35 to 45 is pretty much what they're at. Now, like gate, like in other words, you're not coming in the pit areas. You're not going to get to see anything. Most of them are, I think, around $12 to $15.
But no pits. Whereas and that's a good point. That's something that we never talk about in pulling. But Lacey, you come from both motorsports here. When you pay your entrance fee into pulling, it pretty much is said, and I think we need to encourage fans to think about it this way. That includes an automatic pit pass. Pulling has an open pits policy. So by paying a 25 or a 30, well, you can sit there and tell yourself, okay, well, I paid 15 for the pool, but then another 10 to go back there and get 100 autographs and drink a beer with my hero or ask questions or look at these vehicles, take pictures. It's unlimited in the pits. Pulling is open pits.
That's the deal,
think about.
All the pools we go to, the kids get to come back there and, we grab them, put them on the tractor. They're not going to get to do that too much in the racing world, Right. And you got to realize on the racing side of things, it is hustle and bustle nonstop, And I mean, we was kicking around like kids 6 and under's free, Mom and dad's got to pretty much entertain them after a little bit anyways, and that's why my wife's got a whole list of stuff to try to keep the kids interacted, to keep going there with the show. But at the same time, the Outlaws, we don't waste no time of going through that show. They want it done in 3.5 hours. So just kind of give you what we was looking for an ideal. This is not set in stone. Kids 6 and under was free. Kids 7 to 15 was like $20, and adults, which will be the 17 and above or whatever, and adults. I'm sorry, it was $215 for the $20, and then 16 and above to adults. We was going to try to do 35. And we're going to kind of run the numbers with that, with the amount of seating that we can try to come up with and try to make it budget out. That's going to be a huge hit. It's the bleachers. A lot of them suggested last night, I'll call the rodeo people, this and that. Most everything we got around here, they're fixed. I got the bright idea. I called a bleacher company. I got a quote on that yesterday evening of just buying some bleachers. Just buy some portable bleachers. You can buy the 45-foot trailers that sets 300 people. They're about $96,000 per trailer.
True.
So you can get 1,800 seats for about $600,000 by the time you pay for the trailer, the tax, and go get them in Iowa. So I don't know. That's I'd probably like to try this first and make sure I even want to try to do it again.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be a rough one to get jumped in there and get started on right off the bat. So I'm still working with bleachers.com. I've got a pretty good guy there, but the availability of my show and what we can find on bleachers is become it's kind of the conflict. I've even offered to go to San Antonio, Houston, to go pick the trailers up and bring them back in here, send some of my drivers down and pull the trailers back, and so we could try to have the bleachers. I kind of want to try to get this locked down. The worst thing I want to do is 2 weeks for the show, then I can't find no bleachers. That's going to be that'll be a disaster. That'll be just almost as bad as a rain out, in the middle of everything.
Yeah, Kurt Coyman says, I think he's answering the question about Rock Valley's admission price at $25.
Okay.
You're seeing the cream of the crop. You're seeing the cream of the crop with the Outlaws, premier classes. And you know what these machines cost to put together and what they cost to run week in, week out. I mean,
and that was our whole deal. And I want to put that out there first immediately. I could care less to make $1. And that's what I told them. I said, I just want to break even on the deal. If I could get enough of sponsors for the classes and cover our expense of the bleachers and the few meals or whatever, I don't care. I'll donate the meals, anything over that, I wanted to give more back to the pullers, If I'm going to drag these guys down out of Iowa and northern Missouri and this and that to come down here to go to the pool, I'd like to be able to send them back home with, a $3,000 winning check would be great. So that was another thing that I guess I need to highlight, that anything extra that we could get off the top of this, we wanted to turn around and try to give it back to the pullers, along with giving to the fans, the kids, the T-shirts, the hats. Everybody wants a hat, so that's what I was working on. I was working on ASCO there today. It's like, hey, I want to get about 4 or 5 dozen hats so we can throw them away, throw them out in the crowd, not away. Yeah. And get a bunch of T-shirts made up and give them away, make it worth the while, as far as make the people realize that, hey, this is going to be a great event to come to.
Yeah, no doubt. And you had mentioned to me also you were thinking about possibly doing a jackpot. Is that still – you still thinking about that?
Yeah, so basically what I thought on that, a lot of the pullers, and I'll know more about it, I guess, when it gets closer, Ron. A lot of the pullers, as far as, like, say, let's just take the pro stock class. If the pullers all wanted to do a side pot of, $1,000 each in the side pot and do a 60-40 split, kind of like a big bass tournament. You go enter the bass tournament, you do the big bass side pot. First place is going to take 60% of the second place takes, the 40%. And, nobody's going to make anything off of it. All the pullers will put it in there, and whoever wins it, say if it's $10,000, the winner is going to get $6,000 and second place is going to get, $4,000. So, and then, like I said, if somebody wins it and they didn't put in the pot, it'll just go down to the next person, that actually is first in the pot, itself. So
yeah.
Oh, there's Dave on there. We done getting him fired up over there.
That was probably me talking about him giving me a hard time there. So blame the
man. That was part of the deal when with the conversation. I had to work on him for a little bit there for me. What he don't realize is, or no, he does realize, because I've told him, I chased him for years as a kid all the way up, and of him at all the pools that we would go to. But, I sent him that message. There was, that was some of the stipulations. I even told you, Ron, that I was going to try to do that. And who I wanted for the track, the sled pullers and this and that, or sled operators on that deal. So, man, about 30 minutes of conversation of him after he finally called me back about a week later. Now he hauled around and finally at the end, he finally broke down for me, to do it this one time for me. So I think we're going to work on a little crown to put on his head so he can drive around in the golf cart, so everybody knows he is the king there for that.
Yeah.
So
it'll have to fit on that cowboy hat. I don't think he'll take that cowboy hat off.
He's like, I got to have a place to park the motorhome. I'm like, well, I got full hookups down there by the pond. You can fish. I'll get you a golf cart, endless gas, supply gas, so you can just drive around and visit. So, yeah, that's the only way I could get him. I had to.
He's going to come out of retirement and try to put me and Mike out of business if you start spoiling.
Well, I'm just curious so Ron, Dave gets the endless gas and the golf cart, but Ron got to walk or whatever like that. So Ron, we're not there yet. We got a whole legacy before we get the golf cart and the crown and everything.
I'm going to tell you straight up, Dave's like, I don't want Ron's spot. I ain't doing that. I don't want to do none of that. He actually tells me, I just want to be your clowns. All I want to do. So,
and give Ron a hard time. That's what he means by
that. I can't thank him enough for doing
microphone.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Dave's my buddy.
Ron, how was the speaker system at White Rat? Because I think they hired somebody to come in there and put up all the speakers and all that. Was all that pretty good?
I don't remember there being any issues that I can recall.
Okay. Yeah, because I was wondering about sound system, trying to figure out what we was going to do and all that. So I think I'll get with Doug and get that guy's number and see about trying to get him in there for mine.
Big Country, BK.
Okay.
Big Country Productions.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get with him here pretty quick and see if I can get that locked down and
Big Country with a K.
With a K. Okay.
And they were
other than that, I mean, we got everything kind of figured out. I know some people ask about welding up on that. I think the bleachers is kind of a liability situation, so you can't get too many people just that wants to build or whatever,
Yeah, got to be careful.
And we're going to do a lot of seating. I'll pull the bleachers back a little bit from the blocks, and that way some people can sit in lawn chairs, on each end, and then across the front, and then down at the other end at the start of the pool and stuff like that. So kind of like what they did down in Lufkin, minus the semi-trailers so they don't fall off of them.
Right. Gotcha. Well, that sponsor kind of guideline thing, did you get that I sent to you?
Yes, I got that.
Right, guys.
Yeah.
If you need that tweaked, let me know. I can tweak whatever on there. And
I will.
If you think they're out of line or not high enough or what have you, but sometimes it's good to have some kind of guideline.
Yeah, we'll sit down. Like I said, we're still trying to work out all the kinks. I just want people to know it's going to be here and all that. We'll get everything worked out after the holidays and kind of get something set in stone so people can be prepared and all the way around. So.
Heck yeah.
We're going to try to, all the pullers that wants to come in, Thursday night, I may try to do a steak dinner, baked potatoes and everything for people on Thursday, then a fish fry for Friday and maybe barbecue or something for Saturday.
Well, I'll be there for sure on Thursday then.
Yeah. I think Kurt said you had to show up a couple of days ahead of time to help.
Right. I usually do get there at a big pull. I'll get there as soon as I can to start setting things up. So it usually helps. So
we'll start setting the track and all that up probably about a week or so in advance. I'm going to pull the dirt over here and get it set up and till in some wheat straw and some of them wood shavings and kind of get it all set up. We're just going to kind of set the blocks out of the way so the irrigation systems can keep circling and keep water on it, So, and that'd be a good thing about it. We'll have the sub moisture in the ground to kind of, that rises to help the track out. So, Doug there, he helps me on everything. He's a good hand right there.
Kurt says he's coming in on Thursday too. He ain't gonna pass up a steak dinner.
Yeah.
Are you selling adult beverages?
Yeah, we'll have a beer tent there. I got a couple girls that's got license and all that that'll be working that. Ron will do a concert. Well, let's see. We'll see.
I got a band. I got a band together.
Probably after we get a bunch of adult beverages in him, there ain't no telling what he might do. He might even strip for everybody.
I won't go. Don't go that far. You have to get a lot of those in there. I do have a good band right now. We got the fiddle, we got steel, we got everything there. So
got you. Well, might need to bring that down there. We might see what you can do on Thursday. More than anything, I just want them all to come down and Todd, you're kind of like me, brother. There ain't a whole lot that you don't like.
Yeah, that's
Todd, you eat anything that don't eat you first, buddy.
I like that him speaking in the third person there. Todd Bowles saying Todd Bowles like steak.
Todd Bowles like steak. Todd, yeah.
More than anything, we want everybody to have a good time and feel like they got more than their money's worth. And I would love for all the outlaw pullers to go back home and say, on their way home, say, I hope the next one sets a bar for the rest of the guys that's going to be doing it. So,
yeah, well, we've got faith in you that this is going to be a top-notch event here, Lacey. So, you need anything, just holler, and if I can help you, I will. So,
well, guys, I appreciate y'all having us, like Jason and them yesterday, having us on the show to start getting it out there and getting it on everybody's mind, and getting prepared for 2026 season for sure.
Heck yeah. All right, buddy. Congratulations on your accomplishments this season. I know you and Caden walked off the stage quite a few times on the Saturday night. That had to feel pretty good.
He definitely would like to got to pull more. That's what I was telling Jason there. We were supposed to get rain, and he'd go to the shop. Truck is parked inside the shop there, and we'd meet up kind of when we dispatched the crews out in the morning. He'd throw his bag in the semi trailer, and we wouldn't get the rain, and I'd show up and throw his bag back out of the semi trailer in the floor and say, "No, you're going to stay home and irrigate." The weather people kept lying to us on that rain. We couldn't get it, so I know that happened to him 3 different times. But so he had to. Somebody had to stay home and do the irrigation, and it was going to be him because I'd done worked too hard to make it to this point, so I was going to play.
There you got Chuck Holsworth, Pro Stock Puller, says they're planning to be there Thursday to help with anything they can. So
Chuck will be there. He's a good one to have in your corner. Hey, all them Pro Stock boys I played with all summer long, I bet they all show up to support me on it. They're all a super good set of guys. You couldn't ask for anybody better to run with. And even the whole outlaw team, it ain't just them. There's a lot of the classes that I still got a bunch of people to meet. We met a lot at the banquet this year, and there's still a ton more to meet. And I'm sure by the time my pool's over with, I'll get the chance to meet a lot more of them. But as Tim Engler said, when I started this process, he told me where I was going to pull at and what I was going to pull in. Because he said that's a good set of guys to be playing with right there. So and he wasn't wrong at all.
Awesome. So,
well, buddy, got a big Thanksgiving plan. I got to go get the turkey and the dressing and get all that ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, you better get on it. We're going to let you go. Happy Turkey Day. Tell everybody we said Happy Thanksgiving, and have a safe and happy one.
I will do. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir. Lacey Weger, appreciate you.
I'm just waiting for the comment. Todd Bowles likes turkey.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his operation, everything he does. He doesn't do anything half-assed.
No way.
I fully expect him to exceed our expectations.
When we saw this late last year, and we kind of turned to each other in Ravenna to kick off the 2025 season, we saw his tractors go down, and we knew then. We said, we're dealing with a professional here. This is Lacey is the type of guy, and his whole family, his whole operation. Yeah, he doesn't aim for the moon. He aims for the stars, and he doesn't take half the cake. He takes the whole cake. If he puts his stamp on something, he's going to do it right. Tractor also won Best in Show. I mean, he walked away with 3 awards, but if that kind of tells you the type of guy he is, not only does the performance correct, but everything about it is done upright. This poll is going to be the real deal, just because the person behind it does things the right way. So this is going to be really fun.
Yeah, now I got to see him pull and Caden the year before in White. They made a couple of test hooks and then pulled, and I knew what they were capable of. So
yeah,
I knew they weren't playing around when they came out last year and they said, "All right, we're going to do the whole season." I knew they were going to be some serious players to contend with. So Robert Miner, he is referring to the Outlaw Superfan Contest brought to you by Case IH. That giveaway, I do not know yet, Robert. As soon as I know, as soon as we know, you will know on Outlawed Live. They did draw for the winner, but there's a lot of legalese stuff they got to go through. They have to make sure the person, I don't know. They have to make sure the person is old enough to have it. Make sure they don't work for Case IH or any of the affiliates or the Outlaws, things like that. It's a lot of legal things and hoops that they have to jump through to make sure that once they give away this tractor away to that person, they followed all the rules to the T. So as soon as we know, you will know. We will announce it here on the podcast.
Got to go to the person's farm and make sure that there's not like a John Deere flag hanging somewhere in the shop.
Right.
Sure
right. I think I read that in the rules, Mike. Yeah.
But, hey, look here. If you're green, you're mean. So no, I'm sure it's a process. So, but yeah, I had a couple other super fans asking me that last night, and I said we will disclose that as soon as we can.
Yes, sir. I'm checking to make sure I didn't miss any comments here. We did have a lot.
Yeah, huge show. We had upwards of 100 people live audience tonight, and I know that this show, one thing I've learned about it is your live audience, you can like quadruple that. People will have up to hundreds and thousands that watch it throughout the week, but a huge live audience tonight. So for all those tuning in, and I'm sure a lot of curiosity about the Alliance and a lot of you wanting to hear, information about the banquet, but great crowd tonight. Thank you all for being a part of it. And we got some new sponsors too, don't we, Ron?
We sure do. Let me pull those up here. Of course, IHRA, we're going to talk about them a little bit. We're going to talk about Hall Seed and Chemical over there in your neck of the woods, Mike.
Right down the road from me.
Let me pull that comment off there so it's not, there we go. And we got Parks Puller Tires.
Yeah.
New sponsor for 2026. And Sullivan. Well, we need a black background on that.
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Not part of their logo.
a big iron company. So, if I took us out of there, you could probably see that, Mike. But Sullivan Big Iron auction company throwing their hat in the ring for 2026. We will take care of those sponsors as well as all the other sponsors we have with the Outlaws. And I'm pretty sure we're probably going to have a few more before it's all said and done with for 2026. Going to be a great year. So hopefully in the weeks coming that we'll have more answers for what's to come with the new Alliance. So, we've told you about everything that we know right now. And right now, everything that we know is good. It's all positive. There's no negatives in this. So to see two big organizations working together like that, you can't ask for anything more. That's what we want to see. So Kurt says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a blessed day. Same thing from Doug Voth. Ben Beller, super fan. With this IHRA PPL Alliance, will the super farms have different rules? I know there are two very different setups. Super farm might be a different animal here because super farms with the Outlaws are more regional to the area that they're in. They travel every once in a while, but we'll see. We'll see, Ben. I'm not going to say definitely that that won't change, but you never know down the road. But right now, I'm going to say it's probably going to stay the way it is as far as the Outlaw Super Farm's been around for a while and had that set of rules. And being that they're so regional like they are, probably will stay the way it is. The same way with PPL has regional classes, and let's say, over on the East Coast somewhere that has a mod class that's going to be different from the Outlaw mod class. Kind of the same boat there. Regional classes we will probably leave alone. Did we celebrate our award? Mike is sleeping with his, I think. He's got it under his pillow, Marty.
There she hangs, right. I got my two editions. I had a couple of winning weekends. I had some fun weekends. So my podcast office, it has two new trophies sitting in it right over here behind me. I was honored. Ron, I think, have you won this award before? Was this your first time winning it? I feel like I'd thumbed through the programs and maybe seen that you had won
21 or 22. I did, yeah.
But this was a big deal, and it meant a lot. And I was glad to have won it together, because I feel like so much of what I do has been learned from you, and so much of what you and I do, we do together. But yeah, I'll be honest with you guys. I was very, very honored. I was very pleased. This was my childhood dream. I just wanted to be an announcer and to be with the best association in motorsports, and to have them kind of put that stock and that faith in you. It means a lot to me. So I didn't celebrate. I didn't go crazy. I realized, I tell you what, the more you get into this pulling business, the more, there's business to be done. And we had a lot of business going on this weekend. So, it wasn't as much beer. The most beer I ever drank at the banquet was the first one I went to when I was just kind of a fringe freelancer. So, but very, very honored, and best fans in the world, best motorsport in the world, best association I could ever want to be with.
Yeah, it's looking back, you went through the whole gamut in your speech. I was a little limited in how much I could say, because I didn't know when my voice was going to totally give out. But,
sure.
My announcing started, when I was roughly, 10 years old, announcing stomper pulls, with friends and cousins and stuff. And literally that's how I got started, I always, wanted more from announcers at tractor pulls and motorsports events. And I thought, well, if I were to do it, I would say this and that, and I'd give more information on this. And now here I am. So I got to put my money where my mouth is and do all
the number one thing I always try to think back as a fan. And I partied at pulls. I don't as much anymore. So I'll put some blame on myself, but I would always sit there, be loving the class, be watching the class, get to yapping, get to feeling good, look up and say, who the heck's leading this thing? And so as an announcer, I always try to have the competition side of things, all your information at your fingertips, your standings, your point standings, who's winning, how far they have to go. But yeah, like you said, Ron, you think about, well, if I was doing it, here's what I would try to bring in. I always try to think back to when I was a fan. What information does the fan need to have a better experience? And how can we take our pullers and prop them up as the heroes that they are? So just fun. I mean, I've never been sad at a tractor pull, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing with my summers.
Here's a class here to watch out for in 2026. The mini rod class. I think we're going to have a good group of mini rods out there. Mark Shaley checking in, saying looking forward to pulling with the Outlaws next year in the mini rod class. New rule in that class, we just approved the T53 turbines, helicopter turbines, to be used in that class. So look out. That's going to be more variety.
I want to reiterate that to fans. So fans really stop and hear what Ron is saying. Everyone knows what they think a mini rod looks like. We just approved turbines. You can see an Outlaw mini rod with a turbine power plant on it. So other big news, take that away. Think about that over the wintertime and go see one of those in the spring. I've seen them before, Ron, way back in the day. They're kind of mythic legends in pulling, but I've came across them I think there were one or two. I know there's a picture of one floating out there somewhere. I'm sure it's Dan's. It was like an indoor pull in St. Louis, Missouri. Might have been outdoor pull, but there was a turbine that pulled in the 80s or 90s.
Oh, there were several in the 70s and 80s.
And the mini rods that pulled in the mini rods. Yeah, so now you're going to see the potential of seeing turbines in the mini rod class courtesy of Outlaws. That's going to be neat.
Where I grew up in Southern Ohio, I seen several at the little track there where I grew up. The Bussies, the Blue Angel, they had one. John Bussey, they had one when I was a kid. I think there was a couple others there around. I actually saw someone posted an old school turbine on a mini, and a couple of people got pretty excited and saying, wow, that would be cool. And it's like, well, yeah, it's actually been done. It's just the class grew past the power the T53 turbine made. Those tractors are making 2,800, 3,200 horsepower now. T53 makes 1,400 horsepower. That's right in the wheelhouse for that supercharged small block mini rod class that we have. So it fits perfect. It's going to bring more variety to that class, that cool factor, to see one of those engines on a, like you said, it seems kind of new because it hasn't been around in a long time. So it'll be cool to see. Kurt, thanks, Kurt. Appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, we're talking about Sullivan auctions here. Doug both asked what they deal in, and Kurt and Cole Lundahl seem to answer the question there. Mark Ulmer, congrats to you, Mike. Happy you let me share the mic with you at Moat. Boy, you were taking a risk by doing that, letting Mark Ulmer have the mic.
That was fun. He walked right up to me and he said, his tractor's injured. He'd been traveling with Alan and their team, and he said, I'm just the pit helper. That was not his exact words, but he said, I'm just the pit helper this weekend. He goes, can I come up there on the microphone and tell some stories? And I tell you what, it was a lot of fun. You're sitting there picking the brain of one of the greatest pullers of all time. And he would say, I'd ask him a question. Hey, Mark, what do you anticipate is going to do here? Oh, well, if I was Halenga back here, I believe I'd spot the sled over, a 1.5 foot and take a weight off the nose. And then sure as sugar, every single time the next tractor would come up, it'd be 1.5 foot over, take a weight off the nose. I mean, he predicted the future every time just because the man has forgotten more about pulling and setups than a lot of people could ever hope to know. We had a great time in Mobile. I really enjoyed, spinning a class announcing with Mark.
You scared me there for a minute. If I was going to hit the bleep button when you said sure is, and I heard shh come out of your mouth, and I was like, wait a minute.
You know what? When you have to teach middle school kids for a living, you get good at your, kind of substitute slang right there. Yeah. So yeah, sure as sugar.
Yeah, you did it again. It makes me think you're going to say the wrong thing. Mini rods and Wisner ? Who knows? Who knows? Could be. Here. What is this? Kurt, you're the announcer. Hey, that's what we do. It's a public service that we do for folks at the pool. If you leave your purse and it has your name in it, Todd Bowles in your case, we're not going to let you go home without your purse. So all good.
There's another half to this story. I'm not going to make you tell it, Ron, but if you do meet Ron out in the pits, and we always love talking to fans, or if you meet Todd Bowles, ask him the other half of this story. You see, Ron was getting Todd back. Todd, maybe we'll put it this way, never leave the battery in the microphone unattended if Todd Bowles is on the loose.
Yeah. He got me in Unionville. I got him back the next night in Buckner. I didn't let it go very long without getting him back. So all good. All right. That's going to do it for us tonight on this Thanksgiving edition of Outlawed Live. Everyone have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. If you're traveling somewhere, be safe. This is going to be a lot of people out on the road. We want you all back here next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Central on Outlawed Live. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
.350.24, the mark to beat. Here comes Stumper. Good run for Murray Thornton, hitting the red limit. The farm all of Kyle Stepanek. Top dog right now. Here comes your number one tractor in points. Brady Gosler out of Ute, Iowa, spare time. Too close to call. Now look at that chicken over there. Look at it. Strutting around all cocky. alcohol, calls it backdraft. Of course, you remember last year, these guys, they go hard. Last year, we tore a couple trucks up here at Prairie Village. You know, he's the first puller. He literally gets 3 attempts here. Right there, he's going to back up so he didn't break 100 foot, which everybody gets that option. But he's the first puller. If he doesn't like this next hook, this next opportunity, he can drop 6 places and come back. Now, four-wheel drive, a little tricky, especially on a sticky track. They want to get off that clutch as soon as possible, but if they get off too soon, they'll start bouncing. Good-looking pass for the Chevrolet out of Iowa. Gravity, Iowa, Ryan Thornton. Got to beat 365.68, waiting on the green. Here comes Ryan Mitchell. Hostile environment. Wow, we're seeing a good show here in the light pro class here tonight.